from the home of Big Blue Nation. This is BBN Gameday, presented by Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance. Big on commitment.
I'm looking for 5 fighters, battlers, that'll come in and play confident.
Playing with confidence and fighting every possession. That's what Calipari wants and what we need to see today when the Wildcats travel to Auburn to take on the Tigers. Tip-off set for 2 o'clock, and we're getting you ready for it. Welcome to BBN Game Day. I'm Keith Farmer.
And I'm Christy Thomas. And Keith, the Cats, they didn't like that 9 p.m. tip. I didn't either. I got to be honest with you. It's a little late for me. It was on Tuesday night against Alabama. So how about we try a 2 o'clock tip time and maybe change it up a little bit?
Yeah. Couldn't hurt.
See how we do. It's a bounce-back game for the Cats in more ways than one, really. They're coming off that 20-point loss at home to Alabama on Tuesday. But more importantly, they're still coming to terms with the death of a friend and former teammate, Ben Jordan, the Kentucky baseball player who also walked on to the basketball team last season, tragically passed away on Monday at just 22 years old. Dante Allen was on the team with Ben last year.
I learned as soon as I woke up, and I think it's been pretty emotional just around the guys that was actually around Ben last year. So the players at first didn't know because they didn't know him, but since then it's been pretty emotional, and everybody just trying to get through it together and just trying to uplift everybody.
Really tough for the team to go through the loss of a friend and then have to turn around and play a game. And now today, having to use that as inspiration as they go out and compete against Auburn, which again is just another tough team. But what a tough week for this.
Yeah, at first I thought, well, there weren't that many that were here. But when you see your teammate hurting so badly as some of these guys were, even Riley Welch, Zan Payne, who were walk-ons with him, I mean, I think that did make it pretty hard to, kind of get it together for that Alabama game. Let's transition now and talk about this Auburn team, because they're not unlike the Alabama team that Kentucky struggled with on Tuesday. The Tigers are fast. They're playing with an up-tempo offense, attempting 29 three-pointers per game. Does that sound familiar? And making about 10 of them. That kind of sounds familiar too. So the Cats will have to defend the perimeter better than they did against Bama.
A big part of what Auburn does rolls through Sharif Cooper. The 5-star point guard was granted eligibility by the NCAA just last week, so he's only played in 2 games for the Tigers. But how about the fact that the freshman is averaging, are you kidding, 27 points in those 2 games? He's small, but he's fast. He wants to beat you off the bounce and score around the basket. And here's how Bruce Pearl describes Cooper's game.
They try to, challenge him and press up on him. And that's really hard to do, because 1 guy, 2 guys, they can't stay in front of him. And so he's able to go by you, and then he can finish inside. He needs to do a better job of finishing. But if you're open, he's going to find you. He's going to give you easy ones. Like the dimes he drops are, open shots. And so we'll continue to run the offense through him.
And take a look at this, how much Cooper has changed the game for his Auburn team. Now, it's just a 2-game sample, but it's against 2 of the better opponents. Auburn is averaging 18 more points per game with Cooper on the court. Their assist numbers also up significantly, and they are shooting over 7% better from the field. This is the type of player you want on your team, and I kind of was hoping Keon Brooks was going to be that guy for the Wildcats.
Yeah, this has me shaking my head. I was shaking my head as you were reading that stat line, honestly, because my concern here is Kentucky on defense. Can they stop a straight line drive? Can they defend the 3? Those are things we did not see against Alabama. So those are things clearly that are going to stick out today as they take on Auburn. Have to get it done.
And who is the guy? Is that going to be Devin Askew or Davion Mintz? One of those 2 going to have to step up.
I think it's a great question. I think it could be anybody. I mean, honestly, I think we've seen that, but I think that's an awesome question. All right, well, coming up next on BBN Game Day, there's plenty more where that came from. We're going to keep talking basketball.
Yeah, Jack Goose Gibbons is here to preview the game with us. That's next on BBN Game Day.
BBN Game Day, presented by Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance. Big on commitment. Sponsored by Central Bank, Coca-Cola, Kroger, Papa John's, and Toyota.
With roots dating back to 1946, Central Bank remains a community bank dedicated to serving the people and businesses of Kentucky. We're here, as always, with customer service and support, as well as online and mobile banking services available 24 hours a day. For the latest information about your options for banking services and resources, visit us at centralbank.com. Central Bank, central to you. Member FDIC.
Love lower than low prices? Then get more ways to save at Kroger, where you can find personalized coupons, weekly deals, and rewards like fuel points. All for prices that are lower than low. On food that's fresher than fresh. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Sticky notes are part of our daily lives. And people have found some pretty creative uses for them. As Kentucky's insurance company, we appreciate the resourcefulness and the fact that billions of sticky notes are made each year right here in the Commonwealth. And we think that's something Kentuckians find pretty noteworthy. Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance. Big on commitment.
You're watching BBN Gameday, presented by Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance. Big on commitment.
Welcome back to BBN Gameday.
Our guy Goose Givens is joining us now. Goose, how you doing?
Doing good, Christy.
Good.
How you guys doing?
We're doing great. Thanks for asking. All right, well, let's get right to it. How do you think this game pans out today?
Oh, man, I wish you had asked me before the Alabama game. I would be able to give you a different answer. But when you think about this Auburn team, just close your eyes, and instead of Auburn across the jersey, it's Alabama, okay? Because they're that similar in the way they want to play. You've already talked some about the numbers, but man, they might shoot more threes than Alabama. The real interesting thing is, you know they're going to shoot threes. Kentucky knows they're going to shoot threes. I was in practice, and Coach Cal talks about it. You got to get out there, and then you have guys back up and with their hands down, and they say, "Okay, let me see if you can make it. Show me if you can make it," and they just keep knocking them down. So Kentucky's going to have to defend the three-point line. Once again, transition defense is going to figure into it. And at some point, we have to become a better rebounding team. Those are areas that you'll see Auburn try to take advantage of in this game. Kentucky's going to have to do something about it.
All right, so Auburn scored 90 and 95 points in its last two games. Kentucky's defense has to be ready for that. John Calipari was not happy with what he saw from his guys on that side of the ball against Alabama this week. Listen to this, Goose.
Did we have anybody that could stay in front of anybody? I don't know. I mean, it didn't look like it. And so we got work to do.
Clearly, Cal was clearly frustrated with Kentucky's defense in that game. What do the Cats need to do more on the offensive end, defensive end, that is, to limit the Tigers today?
Well, it would be great if we had a backcourt full of DeAndre Liggins type defensive guards. I mean, that would be wonderful, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Fact of the matter is we don't. So what the guys have to do is become smarter. If you can't keep a guy in front of you, you got to give him just a little more space. You got to play the angles. You know what they're going to try to do, and especially now after the Alabama game, you know what Bruce Pearl is saying. Take the ball right to the basket, just fake one way and go, because that's all the resistance you're going to get. So you have to learn to play the angles. You have to be smart about it. And Kentucky just hasn't been that. And it's difficult, I got to admit, because you got a team that shoots threes. So at 1 minute, Coach Cal saying, get up on him. And then on the other time, he's saying, get back, keep him in front of you. So it's tough. But it's a tough game. We're in a tough league. They have to understand that.
All right, well, Cal has said that this team, he's looking for fighters. Mm-hmm. That's who should get to play. Who do you think those fighters are? Who do you think those five might be?
Well, you know what? I like Jackson because he's not backing down from anybody. He's what does he weigh? 210 at 6'9", 6'10"? I don't know. But he won't back down from anybody. I like Mintz. Mintz doesn't mind fighting a little bit. He'll take that. But I'm from the old school. The way I see it, the toughness starts in the paint. You have to have your bigs be physical. And especially when you don't have guards who can stop Keith, you or me, or Christy, I know they can't stop you going to the basket. You have to have a big back there that the other team is looking over the shoulder saying, where is he? Is he going to come and put me on my rear end or not? Well, Sar, unfortunately, is not that kind of player, but he's going to have to get it somewhere. That toughness, that fight starts with the bigs.
Goose, quickly, it has been a weird year. The current SEC standings reflect that. Kentucky getting ready to play its 5th conference game. South Carolina's only played 1. We obviously have to expect more schedule changes this season. How do you see the rest of this year panning out? About 20 seconds, Goose.
Well, like I say, I just want to play who's in front of me, but I want to play them at the best that I can play them. I just want to see games, so let's see what happens with that.
Well, I think that's a great point. You just want to see games because, as you can see right there, South Carolina only 1-0 in the SEC. They are not playing games, so
Kentucky
that's where we
football did, right?
That's right.
So,
we want to see games. Yep, that's it.
Right.
Goose,
exactly.
Appreciate it. We will be listening in to you pregame. All right, in our next segment on BBN Game Day, we're still getting ready for game day.
Talk to assistant John Robick about the matchup. You'll hear that coming right up.
Tune in before every game for the Don Franklin Countdown to Tip-Off Show with Dave Baker and Jack Givens, featuring conversations with other former UK stars and Coach Cal. It airs 90 minutes prior to game time on the UK Sports Network radio affiliates or through the UK Athletics app.
Today tastes like staying in, like our go-to place. Tastes like anticipating, and a little bit like waiting. Food's here. Today tastes like a piece of the action, and it never tasted this good.
We've been going to the same Skyline for 11 or 12 years now. When I see that familiar face at the drive-thru, it makes me feel good. Just making that connection, seeing them again. It's like going home. We always make sure that we eat as a family. And on the busier days, hitting the Skyline drive-thru is perfect for that. It's always a good experience, and everybody in the house is happy. We eat Skyline once a week for lunch or dinner. Yeah, sometimes it's 2 times a week. Skyline is definitely my family's favorite restaurant.
You're watching BBN Game Day, presented by Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance. Big on commitment.
Welcome back into Game Day. We're previewing today's game between Kentucky and Auburn. And who better to talk about tonight's game than a coach? Keith had a chance to talk with John Robick and get to know a little bit more about him away from the game. Here's their conversation, sponsored by Bird, the official shared mobility partner of the University of Kentucky.
Coach Robick, we always get to talk to the players, get to know a little bit more about them. I want to ask you just a couple of questions that we ask them. One of them is, who put the basketball in your hand when you were younger?
My parents. My dad had a big influence in me playing, and it's something that I've always, loved to do. And I had a pretty good high school and college career, so I'm glad I chose the sport of basketball.
And who were some of your influences when you were growing up, aside from your parents? Maybe, the basketball players you liked and wanted to emulate.
I don't know if it's specific. When you're 6 feet tall and not very fast and can shoot a little bit, you keep things real, in perspective. But I've had a lot of influences from my high school coaches to my college coach. I played for Bob Huggins for a year. Early on, and then transferred to Denison, and it was a Division III school that I really liked, and my late coach, who I played for there, had a big influence on me. And then all the coaches that I've worked for in my long career since I'm getting older, I've had a big influence.
All right, let's get into talking about this team on Tuesday. Obviously a tough one. Was that a matter of a system that you don't see very often, a team being hot, or Kentucky being kind of lost, and Coach said not everybody played well at all?
Well, we talked about it yesterday, and we talked about it again this morning. It was a combination of things. The style was different. It was the same style that they really played last year, but I think that they've added some some really good pieces to their team. It's an interesting style where you're going to shoot 33s a game. We knew that going in, but they made 14, and they played very, very well. They're a very, very well coached, really top level team in Alabama.
So next up, you got Auburn. Looks like Sharif Cooper is the guy you got to stop. He's kind of on fire right now. And just talk about them as you head off on the road to play the Tigers.
Well, they play a similar style. Sharif is, he's played 2 games. I have the stats right in front of me. He's averaging 27 points, 11 assists. The ball's in his hands a lot. He's a terrific player. Very, very impressed, watching his 2 games. They're playing totally differently than they did in their previous 11 games without him. He's great in transition. He seems never to panic. He makes the right plays. He gets to the rim, and he just makes the game easier for everyone else that's on his team.
You've been with Coach Cal for a long time. This is a year like none of us have seen. How difficult has this year been with COVID? And what are you seeing from the players week in and week out as they try to fight through this and prepare for games?
Well, knock on wood, we just had our COVID test this morning again. We've gone a long, long time, without any hiccups, with the COVID. It's been a challenge. It's a challenge for the players more than the coaches. We've done a good job as a program with the people here at the university and our medical staff of keeping everybody healthy. It's too bad that these kids, can't really experience playing at Rupp with 22,000 fans. It's just different. No one's ever experienced anything like this in college athletics, both in every sport. But and this is a team that I really think needs some backing at times, and so we just have to create that own energy. And we're just getting prepared for this next game, and we're excited for another opportunity to play.
Awesome stuff. Thanks to Coach Robick for talking with us. We've got more BBN Game Day coming up, including a look at the latest news in women's basketball. Stay with us.
Watch the UK Healthcare John Calipari Show every Monday evening, hosted by the voice of the Wildcats, Tom Leach. Fans can call in and submit questions on Facebook and Twitter. It airs 6 p.m. across UK Sports Network affiliates and streams live on the Kentucky Basketball Facebook page.
Wait up. Papa John's has a new stuffed crust. Oh, we did it. We did it. All our tweets, DMs, and carrier pigeons worked. This ain't just stuffed crust. This is Papa John's crust. Stuffed.
Happy birthday to you.
Kentucky Farm Bureau has been insuring folks for more than 75 years. So, we know Kentucky. Case in point, we know the Happy Birthday song was written by a pair of Kentucky sisters. The whole song lasts only about 15 seconds. Yeah, good thing. Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance. Big on commitment.
Crust is the most important part of stuffed crust. It's half the name. Papa John's crust is made from 6 simple ingredients. 7 if you count all this cheese. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
You're watching BBN Game Day, presented by Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance. Big on commitment.
It's time to get it. It's time to get it. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Sabrina Haynes, former Cat, getting you pumped up for some women's basketball news. Welcome back to BBN Game Day.
Love that, Sabrina, that energy. Well, the women were supposed to play Auburn this week too, but the game was postponed because of COVID protocols within the Auburn program. It has been rescheduled. It's on the books for next Thursday, January 21st at 8:30 p.m. Kiki McKinney talked to us about the uncertainty and stress of this season.
I have anxiety about COVID because COVID can mess up a lot of things. We have a good thing going right now, and say one person is out, it can affect all of us. So we have been really cautious and intentional about what we're doing and how we're doing to make sure we're staying in our bubble as much as we can. But you never know. Like, it could be you going to the grocery store to get food for our house and we can get COVID.
Assuming everything goes right, Kentucky's next game is against Vanderbilt tomorrow night at 7 o'clock.
Meanwhile, accolades keep rolling in for Ryan Howard. The junior was named the best player of the season so far by ESPN. She's averaging just under 28 points per game in league play. And by league play, I mean 4 SEC games in a row against top 15 opponents. 2 of those top 10, by the way. I got to point that out, too. You just have to see it to believe it, but don't get distracted.
I always get caught up watching Ryan. It amazes me with things that she does, because granted, I've played with Ryan for 3 years now, and she always does amaze me every game. It's like she pulls something out her bag that I did not know that she had. But yeah, Ryan is a great player, as we all know. It's fun playing with her, especially when she likes to get hype and turn up. Everybody thinks Ryan is very quiet, but it's like, if you know her, it's the quite opposite. So it's fun playing with her.
You could go on about Ryan,
Oh, yes.
and the fact is that you can also get caught up in watching her and not doing your job on the court.
She's really something, and one of those players that when she's ready to score, she will.
Yes.
Even a couple of tough SEC losses, the women's team found a way to give back to the community. They took the time to meet and talk with kids from the Kentucky Children's Hospital, then had a special introduction at Memorial Coliseum. What a nice honor for those kids. Just love to see the girls giving back. So really, how can you not love this team when they give back like that? Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Stay right there. More coming up after this.
Another heartwarming moment is next.
Today tastes like staying in, like our go-to place. Tastes like anticipating, and a little bit like waiting. Today tastes like a piece of the action, and it never tasted this good.
Love lower than low prices? Then get more ways to save at Kroger, where you can find personalized coupons, weekly deals, and rewards like fuel points. All for prices that are lower than low. On food that's fresher than fresh. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
If you're looking for a new SUV this winter, you gotta run the numbers. Let's start with 3, as in 3 amazing Toyota RAV4s to choose from. The luxurious Limited, the rugged Adventure, and the extremely quick XSE Hybrid at 219 horsepower. And those numbers all add up to 1, as in America's #1 selling SUV. Now when you run the numbers, you can get $1,250 customer cash, or lease RAV4 for $209 a month. Run the numbers and save. Toyota, let's go places.
We think Maddie Brezowitz should be on scholarship for the spring semester. Are you okay with that?
Oh boy, that's the kind of story we love to see. The volleyball team surprising sophomore Maddie Berezowitz with a scholarship, and Coach Craig Skinner getting the whole team involved and getting the reactions on video. That's our Coke Play of the Week.
Well, give me a second while I dry off the tears over here. I mean, like, is that great?
Oh.
I mean, that's what this is all about. This is so great when you work hard and you get rewarded for that. And Craig Skinner's such a great guy.
We saw one from football a couple of seasons ago. Oh, I love to see that. It's just so awesome.
It's all so much fun. Well, and again, in such a weird, horrible time to have some great news like that, to be able to share with all of you, and then for her too, what a moment. So yeah, that's a great Coke Play of the Week.
Thank you so much for joining us on another edition of BBN Game Day.
We'll see you same time, same place next week. Until then, go Big Blue.
BBN Game Day, presented by Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance. Big on commitment. Sponsored by Central Bank, Coca-Cola, Kroger, Papa John's, and Toyota.